Yes, you know, I say greetings. You know, I say at things and time, culture expression. And you know, I say we come on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we come on Friday and we play culture expression, which is we give the people them some entertainment of reggae music. When I say dance, I say reggae music. No profanity, reggae. You know what I mean? Cause reggae not profanity, reggae. See? And Friday, as per normal, I come in and get my selector them straight into the something. Cause you know some the people them were here from the governments or from the TV and the news, the easing up of the lockdown, the COVID and everything. So you know, I say people are gonna sort out themselves in them house and everything. So we just drove straight in, you know. And me boss see with my chat, so me say I gonna try seduce the selector them for go 80s. I me say that from Thursday. So I that them start to do. And we I ride through good, you know. And even me hear some rhythms that me never really hear before, you know. Me hear some Sugar Minott vocals and so forth, you know. And it was interesting. It was getting hot. And then we get an indication on the screen that we have violated the policy of YouTube. And we did it now for a long time, you know. So may I say this because I've depicted in my own consciousness there's a fraudulent person or persons that not like what we do on Fridays. They're not coming on Tuesday or Thursday, but particularly Friday. All you have to do, you know, anybody, is just get your own channel. Don't interfere with someone else because you have a begrudgement somehow, somewhere, or you're jealous, or you're envious, or you're covetous. And me are talking. So, sweat not thyself, not fret, sweat. Because when one door locks, or several doors locks, or hindrance come, there's others. You understand? And with the changing of the world, or the changing of governments, and the changing of political freedoms, or humanitarian freedoms and everything, we're with that, you know. We're not follow it, but we're not going to breach anything to make we have to be part of it. You see? So, sweat not thyself for all the actions that anyone's them who are being very covetous, it will come back and bite you. All of whoever, if it's a group of people, if it's an individual, even if it's an organization, it will return and bite you. Because you could have spent your times, you know, thinking and doing something better. If it is that you oppose us, you know? And if the person naturally is a human being, check yourselves. Serious. You know what I mean? I don't think it's all about autopilot and computer analysts and everything. Because you know what? You have April Fools and people them still have them little April Fools jabs here and there. You know, all those things. Right? And so forth. But if that was April Fools, someone would have put a comment up there. But them just blank the whole show and YouTube pull it down from the net. So it's either YouTube got some serious problem with reggae music and them a camouflage it because they don't mind it being integrated into other things. Me no know. But the thing is, that was the first onslaught that we've ever received. Ever. You understand? Because we get blocked, but we not get ripped down. The program, whatever we did, never get pulled down. And it's because one Lovers Rock sister, her company, no want nobody to play for her tune. Me no know, right? But I know it was her, right? Whatever her management team or distribution team felt, them put their claim in, then they charge we, but them no want them thing played, and that was that. When I was on the other station, I play a rhythm that the distributor sent through, and I wasn't supposed to play the rhythm that time. But when I listen to the rhythm, I like the rhythm. And the selector, they tell me, don't play that one. You see? And I played it. And the man program got blocked on YouTube and Facebook. And the show that I was covering got blocked, period. Right? We contact our distributor and say, well, yo, we play the tune, you know, and this is what and it was the only tune that me play, really, because it was my talk show thing. So, them sort that something out, the distributors, them sort it out. But Facebook never sort out nothing. It took a while now for me to go back on Facebook for that particular station. But then bar the station. But then let us on. And that was quite mystifying. So we never bothered to try put nothing up on Facebook and that station from that time. And when I try put nothing up on Facebook up to this time. You understand? Because sometimes you have to try learn something, understand something. And we never really understood it. We don't really understand it. And then we go on Facebook and listen some people them and you hear 10 seconds of them show when it's a music thing. And then the rest is muted. They are there. You can see their video, but you can't hear nothing. Them just get muted. And then you go hear another person that say they're representing Trojan, and them a play. You hear them, and then them switch off from there, and them gone on YouTube, and then play on YouTube for 2 hours, and me don't know. So when you're not independent, you just have to drag yourself through. So that's why you see the violation, deceptive scam, and we're asked why, because I will put up the amplifier one amplifier that belonged to one famous sound system that used to be here in England, and it returned back to Jamaica some years back now, you know, and everything, to show a man say, yo, Friday was sound system. That was the title. You understand? Sweat not yourself, man. So yourselves. So we just say this. We don't know what the scam, sham, deceptive practices. We don't know. You understand? And the service that we are that we are on YouTube, you don't get to talk to people, and it's very complicated. You understand? It's like them give a left hand, not a right hand. You know? So we have to remember these things. Now, the situation with racism and those people them who were commissioned to do the investigation as to what is happening in the society, the head person does know what he's doing, and it is us who's not sure what we should be doing. And when one listens to the conversations that have been had since the report has been revealed, and perhaps some people haven't even read the entirety of the report, but nevertheless, those who are using their pineal glands carefully should recognize that it is something that the system required. It wasn't something that we required. It wasn't something done for us. And it wasn't something done on our behalf either. Get that understood. But then again, it was something done for Black British. It was something done for African Caribbean British. It was something done for immigrant British. You got to understand the dynamics of the whole thing. You got to understand the consensus. You got to understand how peoples have defined themselves and want to be defined. And realize that carefully, because some of us all say that we see ourselves as African. There's a lot of black people that see themselves as black people and not as African people and not as African Caribbean people. And furthermore, not as African British people. Them drop the African period. And there are people who see themselves more British and would fight for what them call rights than the British people. And they're the ones who irritate the British people. You see, them irritate them because they are saying they have a right to this and a right to that. And the only right I think we have, is human rights, is to be treated with respect. To be treated with respect. Because there's no history that's going to make an African Caribbean or an African person become British. Even if the paperwork says that. It's kind of like wishful thinking or wishful desires. Not even thinking, a desire. But is it something that's going to be recognized by the general population? You need to contact Darwin and ask Darwin, can you refute your theory? Can you apologize to Africa and the African peoples? Can you change your concept and your ideology pertaining to African peoples? Now, that won't be possible because the man gone long time. It is the system, the colonial system, the European system that needs to acknowledge us as human beings. Not just America, all of them. And until we get that in our heads and recognize that and respect that of our ancestors, for our ancestors, we will always be trying to knock on this door and appease ourselves saying that you're British. Now look what happened the other day. In Spain, an African footballer and across Europe was offended. And they're not extraordinarily proud, but they know who they are. And him just say, watch out, enough of that. And walk off. Over here in England, they make you to understand that you work for them and you don't have no sense of authority of your own feeling, so you cannot walk off the pitch. And the youth them and us, we not support them, and the youth them not sure what to do. And what they finish up doing is staying there. And this kicking is only titles, kick racism out of football. It's only titles. It's been there for so much years. If England could just get in the World Cup, and the black youth them lost them chance though, cause there were a lot of them. About 7 of them would have been playing in Huddle's team. And them do well for England, and England get in the finals, and they make the goals them, save the goals them, and score one of the goal them too, and England win the World Cup. There would be a lot of palaver for probably 6 months, because the World Cup. But everything will remain the same. It's just that we will get 6 months of joy and festivity. And we are the ones that are foolish because we just deal with plain amusement. So the festivity is natural. It's just that it'll be lasting longer. We need that respect. We need that human rights and dignity to be seen and be exercised by the European Caucasians towards us. Now, this report is asking, they're smart, they're asking everyone who ringing on the, because the people that want to talk to English people, they don't want to talk to black people, they don't want to talk to African Caribbean people. So they're ringing on these stations, and the people them are programmed already to say, tell us, explain to us how you sense and depict institutional racism. So here we go again. Distraction. So some of the people them struggle to explain, and we shouldn't be there. So if the pastors them and I self and others call a general meeting, a few people will turn up. And that meeting is for us to express ourselves and speak to ourselves and actually speak about this thing and ask ourselves, when are we going to stop this? Now, we can't stop the people them commissioning this body and that body to do whatever. But we could have countered it if we were working with ourselves. And we wouldn't have to respond to that because we would have been ahead of that. And more importantly, our elect ambassadors, their offices, would have been speaking with us, and they would have been the ones that be respected, highly respected by the government of this country, to then show their approval or disapproval, or, just diplomatic rights. But when you have somebody that tell the people and say, yeah, institutional racism is what are they speaking about? I don't hear on the radios, even with the Jeremy Corbyn, the Labour thing, nobody's saying, could you explain what anti-Semitic is? And how do you depict that? What are the signs? What does it look like? But we have to tell a person, yo, you know what? Racism there, you know? So is that the new thing? Is it come back? Every time I speak to a black person, are you going to charge me for being racist? And that's the way it's being trivialized on a lot of stations, on Facebook, and all these places. See? Because we play into their narratives. And if we just sit back and listen, we'll learn a lot. And then they print that Britain is the least racist country in the world. Really? Now, what is that supposed to do? There's something that is required. So we have to look at the big picture, not the small foolishness. There's something that's required. And why is these things that is required? Those technicalities only cause mental, intellectual division. Because one set of people is going to be supporting or trying to explain one something, facet, and another is, and it's going to, and instead of us now coming together and see that together we should be talking and develop trust and formulate for the mass population of us. We are dealing with some electrical, intellectual gymnastics. Because it's like people who support football, right? And and me who support basketball, where you would always side with the team that you support. And you see, just not say my team and your team. And then we get so bogged down into the something. Sometimes people finish up not being friendly. And none of us have a stake in the teams them. So with basketball, we just look at the performance of the team and squash that and move. And that's because I am a coach, and the people I speak basketball to is people who are playing, who are learning, they're young, and they're ex-players, etc., etc. So we not hold down, huh? But we want to see the African American youth them and wherever they are perform good. Not just score one hoop here and there, no. Perform good. So what's the point I'm making? The point I'm making is that when we set up an infrastructure, when we have the tentacles to call ourselves somewhere, excluding a dance, then we're moving. We have accomplished that which our parents, our ancestors that was brought here to help rebuild this country after their war. We owe that to them. And remember something, let me just say, the people that selected us and brought us here to fulfill an obligation, to fulfill some commitments for them. Now, they didn't bring everybody. They brought those who they knew could handle that which they require. And we didn't know here, have no experience of no coal, but we survived. And we fulfilled what they wanted us to do. So that means that we are capable of so much, and all I'm trying to use is reflect on that which was and our true potential, and know that we are their children and we have capabilities that they did not have. So why aren't we exercising that which is now our ability that they didn't have in a technological time? Because the reason why these things are happening is because we're not reflecting. Not because I'm saying so. Because when you analyze and reflect, assess and evaluate, you must come up with something. But when you don't, and you just deal with sporadic actions and reaction, you don't come up with nothing. The parable, the fisherman is fishing. And what did the Bible them say? That Christ, not Jesus, said. Very little, but he got into the boat and exercised a lesson. He was never there before. He just came. So you don't know how them fish. And you don't know nothing about their experience. But he exercised a lesson. By doing what? Accompanied them. Got into the boat. Along with them. And see how them do what them do. Fling them net out and so forth. And then he started to exercise his humanity. Prayer. Let's talk about patience, mental tolerance, and then to have patience with longevity, and faith. Knowing that all that you require is not of your doings. The ocean, the sea, and the fish that an enmity unto themselves. You can't call them. You have to wait on them. You wait on them and have faith in yourself with God, because if the wind gets high, the waves will take you out. So you would have a problem. So you have to seek land. If the waves, if the breeze, the wind is ease, you're able to have patience and sit still and wait. Even then, fishes may not attend to your net. But you will not come back empty-handed. You just won't get a great deal. Now, the teaching is he taught them how to endure this and how to understand that this is what is required of man. You can't force right not near. You don't have no control over here. Yeah, the sea. So now what him do? The book says, the scripture says, him say, him get out, him get up, he stood up in the boat, and them see he's not rocking to the east, to the west, he's not rocking around, him just stand up straight. And then him step out of the boat, 1 foot, next foot. And they were amazed. Obviously, we all would be. He reached out to, is it Simon Peter? He reached out to one of them, for him and. But he told him, look at me. See? So, and have faith. And he reached it and he grabbed his hand. And he told him, come. And he too stepped out and stood next to or before Christ. But as we are humans, not learning, but want to learn after we done mash up ourselves, the simple thing he was told was first was to look at me. Now, he's out, underwater, in the sea. And what did he do? He take his eye off me and look down at the water. And what happened to him? He start to panic. Once him start panic, him start to sink. But true, I have all of his hand. Huh? I kept him up. Not up in the air. I kept him from sinking. And then when I step back into the boat and bring him also into the boat. And show him, explain to him that he lacks faith, not courage. Faith. Plus, he wasn't obedient. He wasn't obedient. He was told to look at me. Look at me. Because he knew that this is an experience that they never had. This was a teaching that they were not able to comprehend because the robbers and scribes and everybody has manipulated things from that which Moses were responsible for. It had nothing to do with Joshua disobeying anything. It was just us, the people. We get full of ourselves. And because we break through one thing, we say, cha, we're big now. And we hurt ourselves. But then a lay person comes along and say, yo, you know what, And not these things you're supposed to do. Oh, you go forget grandma and grandpa. Oh, you go do that. Then we stick to the things them raise we with and we know works. How much people would do that? A great deal, but their voices are not heard. And they're deemed to be old-fashioned. And they're deemed not to be, the rising star. And that's why we have continued to lose our way. Those people were commissioned to do the research, just like David Lammy some years back. And it was very strange. Was that for Theresa May, or was that for Labour? It was very strange. Up to now, I don't understand. I don't know who commissioned him. And this time, he was not a party. And he wasn't selected by the head of that group. And then when you look back now, you look at the whole thing now, we never dealt with what everybody call the Windrush situation. And it's not the Windrush really, It is the Home Office say that they've lost, mislaid documents in relation to our nationality and our presence and our growth in England. That has not been resolved. So that kickstart a whole heap of other things. And George Floyd have kickstart a lot of other things. And it's someone else's agenda, and all we do is react. And then when the media take this off their burners, we're going back asleep. And covert is here still. And we as a people are not on top of that. As individuals, a lot of us are trying, but as a body, a collective, we haven't. So the people who deals with certain facets of society know precisely what they're doing and know the time. They always do. Because that's their line of work. Where's ours? Where's our think tanks? Just reactionaries. And we get hurt. I kept saying 2 years ago, there's a middle class sector. It's coming in England. It's on the burners. It's there. It's been strategically planned, and it's going to be orchestrated. And only this covert thing, stop it from push it from being advertised but it's there. They don't want what them call the ones who remembers the plantation. They don't want the ones who talk about reparation and repatriation. We don't want them. So we're going to bring forth your children that's going to oppose you. And we're going to bring forth those elite that we choose. And we spoon feed them. And they would not be Cockney translators. They were ones that are structured within society. They didn't seek a mortgage, but their employers projected a mortgage for them, signed the mortgage over for them, and so on. And even helped them to choose the districts that they should purchase their first home. Now you may not see it. You said, what? What kind of team I chat about? Okay, have a good look and think. Don't just sit back there and don't call them all sellouts either. Because they've been awarded opportunities that we ain't structuralized to do. Now, who doesn't want a good job after spending 5 years getting a degree? One good job. One not a respectful job, a good paying job. One good start in the employment world. You know why I just get a couple children and you don't know if this man that you're going to have, if him is structuralized for the marathon, it could be just a boat, a flyer. Can't stop running. And all you're doing is trying to structuralize yourself so you're a marathon person, but you finish up with 2 children. And your sensitivity have now born you. And then someone comes and give you the teaching of how to be patient. But at the same time, it pollute your wound. So you have another child. That's natural, but you're being used. Didn't sort out the first round. You're stressed. You're traumatized. Well, not traumatized, you're stressed. But you're going through. A woman, you're going through still. Maybe you get some counseling. And then you determine now to say, well, I'm going to change my flex. But you can't do it by yourself. And your ticket, well, you don't have one anymore, because you can scarcely get a visa because you have 3 picnic already, 3 children. So things are not looking too rosy out there with any prestigious person, male. So which person is going to give you a visa now? Where you going to get that from? So it's a problem. It's a social and ethical problem now. So a lot of things that one never set out for is now in your way. As the woman, as us now trying to develop families, to have communities and have trust. And the very organ that helps structuralize the reproduction and continue this community to grow is being wounded. That's been amplified, I am told, also in that report. The social services and the care services knows of these things. It's common. Church ministers, pastors, reverends knows of these things. what have we been able to do about it? We don't communicate with ourselves. We go to the opposition because we haven't got our own consulars. We ain't got those services, and we expect, we really do, but we need a comforting ear. We need a space where we can unwind and not a dance. So we are known about our very private morality and culture and ethics is known. So they can turn it up, turn it down, turn it round. They can play with it because that's our emotion. No wonder why things are the way it is. Who's influencing our children? I asked that 3 years ago on the other radio station. I put that out there. Who's influencing our children and who's also influencing us? And some of us are bold enough to say, nobody not influence me. Cha, I'm my own man, me, I'm my own woman. Really? Why? Because you eat food and go toilet? You understand? Okay. So we need to put another marker down and say, yo, Tony and company. You look at the Home Office, you look at one of the top people them in police and that, right? Our Asian people them come and pass us. You look at the Chancellor, come and pass us. And now them a rap racism now and talk about minorities, immigrants. Just like the African Americans now, them say, them categorize them say with Hispanics, this, that. And them their plight and problem has been there for decades. Now them decide for throw whoever put that thing out there. Them can't talk about themselves without saying Hispanics and Mexicans and everybody. Them never want to know we're in the first goddamn place. So where you associate yourself? Why does that have to be on the agenda? Just like when you open your mouth now for, say, racism, and you seem to be getting somewhere, the Anti-Semitic League and office and administration come out and they say, no, how dare you, right? And then before you know that, now another group of people come, and then the Feminist Party come, and then the Women Lib come, and everybody come and hijack the conversation or the direction, and then that's it. Because what them people should do, look at, is how much race cases we have taken to court, that went to court. How many? From tribunal and so forth, how many? And then we all sit down and hear about the racial disparities and everything that is happening in football and the football match. And then they come up talking about all this money. Listen, money don't change a person's behavior and attitude. Doesn't. So when them talk about them backside foolishness, the people are supposed to say, yo, you see that money there? Give us some of that money there in terms of building, and let we structuralize our own offices and research centers and everything up and down this country. But now them tell us they're going to throw this much money. And then you see what God did. The FA is meant to have had a meeting pertaining to that something there, and the new direct and all these things. And then what? The head man now come out and say something, and the people them say, yo, what, you lost it, man. So the next day when him say him resign. Now he resigns and all these Ian Wrights and all these people, them not sit down and say, yo, hold on a second. Don't make that man they walk way like that, you know. We supposed to Nah. Him just gone. So them expect change because the man gone. No, star. There should have been an inquiry into that. Into that, star. Investigation into that. You understand? Not just leave it like that and them gone and so forth. Lesson got to be learned. So that thing will not happen again. Regardless of the people, them strangle themselves. Because it's in them. Huh? Them know said there's a penalty to be paid, man. You talk about some money over this, and the people them tell you, say, all this money. And then they say, well, yeah. No, that's not the way. It's not the way. We have more than 10 years ago, there was so much, there's over 300 and something big industrial contracts given to British companies there in Nigeria. And they all got started. None's been completed. None. None's been completed. Because we put all our trust, like them say, put all your eggs in one basket. Huh? And now you have a whole heap of black people, them shouting out and screaming about China. You jackasses. Still you turn around and say, yeah, what? For try get into Africa and be part of that committee or get into the AAU and voice some ideas, some suggestions in there. Because it's about how they negotiate with China, with its technology and all its ingenuities and everything. How they negotiate. What type of skills, what type of offer, what type of contracts. What deals, then commonly deals, they're accepting. And many of us have been here in England when Margaret Thatcher, the Conservative, was running and governing this country. And see the two errors that they made, and them quickly draw it back and restructure it. And China still produce cars here, and the British motor industry recovered and excelled. And the British tradesmen them excel into the centuries. Everything become modernized through that deal. And the British tradesmen them benefited. My brother was one. So we was here and we've learned, so we can impart, many of us, some of that information, strategy, to our African brothers and sisters. We not work like that because we not organize, we don't trust each other, and we not do things together. You understand? We don't see ourselves at the big picture. We see ourselves as British, and we see ourselves as integrationalists. You understand? And through this Jesus Christ and the church and everything, and things are going to be the same. And you're going to try to tell Elizabeth, because nobody not talk about the Queen, right? But you should have been talking about the Queen. You're going to try to tell them, you should be saying to them, hey, yo, listen here. One must treat us good. When some people want to talk to both sides of their mouth, them reflect on the plantations in the Caribbean. But it's either to be scoring points or something, because the plantation them still there. And the people them leave Europe to go on holidays. And the islands depend on their financial props through tourism. And we're intelligent people. So our economy can never be structuralized other than entertaining our colonial bosses and the new plantation structure. Because we still cut cane and we still make rum and so forth. Might not be in a big scale like yesteryears, but now, we entertain them on the beach. And the best part of the island, them play golf. And then bring the ships in. And they bring their narcotics and everything else. Yes, and pollute our women. And don't madden up our young men. And they can sit down there and watch that like some Wild Wild West situation. So if the people them don't come and give a couple euros and a couple pounds and a couple dollars, then the population on those islands cannot exist. That's what most people are saying. Because the dependency is on massa for come. So that's voluntarily accepting 21st century servitude. See? No matter how you polish it up, that's what it is. It's not pointing fingers at Muslims and Islam and everything. Point your fingers where it is. It's up someone else's ass. And you all know it. And you behave like you can't do better. So it's not my mother that put you there. It's my mother that bring you this far. And my father that bring you this far. What did we do? Did we acknowledge what they have accomplished for us? That's what the thinking needs to be. Are we honoring our ancestors properly? Are we trying to honor our four parents? Even so, are we? Because the ones them that I'm talking about, right here now, we know what they did. And if we know and we're saying we recognize, then we should thank God for them and ask God to prepare our wicked and then make a pledge till death do us part. We will not stray from that which you have accomplished for us. But nah, we're weak hearts. Me not care. Adam, we're weak hearts. See? Because look how much of our people them don't know nothing about no war and still go and get involved and lost them lives. We don't know nothing about why them do what them do. And we come up here and we're being disrespected and we put up with it. Because we couldn't run. Where we going to run and go? We were mentally entrapped. And because we're such good people, then we work and establish the same NHS. Then we work and prop up that post office and that transport services, bus and train. Then we work hard and help them to establish their oil rigs and their pipelines. You think are just football that them show you the other day, them tell you, say, yeah, there was this guy, he was a captain of Scotland, and there was this other guy, he's a big man in a rugby, and another guy, and all these little trinklicks. Let's be real, mate. Let's be real. So Tony and all the people that was commissioned, there's no point getting vexed with them. We're supposed to get vexed with ourselves. If we were close to ourselves, from him get that offer, our select committee would have been speaking. We either accept or decline. And if we accept it, it's on our terms. And give us a better footing as to how to go about doing the work that we need to know nationally. So it's a lesson learned. I'm gone because I just don't know what we have done to lose, to be classified as violating, deceptive scam. So guidance, we're gone. Yeah, and those of you, when I need to watch court TV, you know, cause this case, George Floyd racism case, the murder of George Floyd, the racist case, the racist that the world got to see is taking place. And if you're not involved and then you hear what the outcome could be and then you start get vexed then, a foolishness that you have to know how the thing is swinging and what kind of roundabouts the people depend. And it's a learning experience. It's a classroom. You just have to be patient and follow the thing and get your notepad out and make some notes, because it requires a lot of critical thinking. Yes. And then you can get into groups on your Zoom and your WhatsApps and everything and discuss. Now is the time. Not all this other choppiness that keeps going on about all kind of rear tear and everything. Everybody's in everybody's business. And some lot of nastiness that come out of yard and panani eaters and all kind of foolishness, man. Seriously, guidance, we're gone. And the persons them who are trying to defame we, your hearts are trouble, man.
Hey, moving forward, yeah. Forward, march, till we get justice. March, resist injustice. March, even if blood run, we will not back down. We keep on going. We keep holding on. We got no guns and no nuclear bombs, man. Unity make us strong, strong, strong. Why should we be silent while we are being down pressed? We must rise up on our feet and protest. March, march, till we get justice. March, march, march.
Yes. And tell your friends them, you know, we learn to teach and we teach to learn. We learn to teach and we teach to learn. Don't bother fooling yourself. You understand? Tony learned. Where were we? when him got position to teach. That's why we see him the way we do. Because we weren't there. So, what he's been able to project is what the system rewarded him for. What did we do? Did we reward him? Did we acknowledge him? We didn't need to empower him, but we needed to reward him. And anyone like that. If after that, them desist or do other than, then we now say that them not respect who they are. But you see, we have a problem, you know. And the problem is we can't differentiate between survive and survival. See? And we still can't appreciate God because God sustains us. Not money, not man's money. The money is a loss. And Caesar requires certain forms of duties. So that's why it says, render that which belongs to Caesar to Caesar. Caesar requires a particular duty, a responsibility. And if you can't comply with them, you can't have his money. Caesar, whoever Caesar is, whether it's a man or a woman, but it's a system. Pastor them now teach that, you know. Because the same people who teach pastor will be telling him to go against their grain. So that's why pastor become a shepherd and speak truth. And raise people, look after the people them. Be a fisherman and have patience and virtue as a fisherman. Be a shepherd and be tolerant. That's what it means. But no, when I want to take what Caesar have and think it just like that, you lose your soul. You lose your morals. You don't understand principles or ethics, the dynamics of morality, and you do not understand the value of what culture really is. You see it as entertainment. So when you chat about, you chat sound. You not chat like Rasta, word, sound, and power. And Rasta not chat that no more. Or the Rasta them that they put out there, they not chat word, sound, and power. Them a try say, you get me? Yo, you see me? And so forth and so forth. And this one I ask what that one I do. And all kind of bow cats and ray, and tear. Nonsense. So, it's understanding. Serious understanding. So Rasta Chedzik said march. Huh? And then him are going to come now, and his children going to come, and my ones are going to come, and your ones are going to come. And we are still going to be on the same treadmill until we get success. Which success? And you can't see success without Caesar. Not seize her, Caesar. You want them economical strength. You want their fandangos. You want to feel that you can be prestigious like them, whatever that is. That's a loss within itself. It's a desire. It's not an aspiration, it's a desire. And you sell yourself just the way we can sell our mothers and our sisters. To accomplish what Caesar has. It comes at a cost. They don't want people talk like me. They don't want us. They want us to continue to fool ourselves and die crazy. Yes, become a non-entity and accomplish nothing is dying crazy. Because all of our actions is a lesson. All of our endeavors is a lesson. Everything we do is a lesson. So how much good lessons do we want to put out there as a people called African people? And them thing Islam put there for us. Christianity will never do that. So, which lesson are we inscribing to ourselves and to others? And then someone said, but it comes at a cost. You damn fool. Guidance to Garman. We might not be there Thursday. They might lock us off. So guidance, one more stroke and we finish. So we don't know what the bad stroke is. We don't know what we did. You understand? Right? So, guidance.